applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to another episode of Ham Nuggets. This is the show, if you've never been here before, where we all try and play with something new that we haven't really done any homework or any research and certainly have not read any manuals on. That way we can all experience it together firsthand. So if that's not the kind of show for you, maybe go look at some cat videos, as a friend of mine would say. But the subject of interest for tonight is going to be W0CHP's MMDVM Pi-Star dashboard upgrade project that enables digital voice modes over the internet by
I want you to say that again like that without stuttering.
By tunneling from this, actually, I practiced this. By tunneling your radio's traffic from RF, encapsulating it into voice over IP, sending it over the internet, turning it from voice over IP back into RF into somebody else's radio so you can talk to somebody around the world on a radio that wasn't designed for it. And some folks say that's not real radio.
I mean,
so let's do it.
It's on your cell phone, right? So how does that cell phone connect to a radio tower?
Yes, exactly. Speaking of cell phones and radio towers, I had one. And now
Carlos, we didn't really do an intro. Steve just pushed the go button as soon as your video ended, I think.
I said, Jim, we're going live. We're going straight in. No intro, no nothing. And then Jim kept on talking until the button was already pushed. And so you started off in half of Jim's sentence. I blame Jim. But that's what he's here for.
Not that you miss anything, but... You know.
Right. Yeah, you're not missing anything. We'll say it over and over again. So there is a link in the banner down below, and it's also in the chat over there. If you would like to play along at home, you need an SD card. This is an SD card inside of an SD card adapter, because if I held up the SD card, you couldn't see it. And then you'll need some kind of Raspberry Pi. This guy recommends a Raspberry Pi 02W 3 or 4, and I think maybe even a regular 2, but I'm not 100% sure. This is a Raspberry Pi 4, so we're going to be working at optimum speed, which is still going to be kind of slow, but we'll do it. And I have the MMDVM Pi hat on top of it, and you can use that, or you can use one of these thumb DV things, or you can use the Rzync USB adapter host thing if you wanted to, but it's still got to be plugged into the Raspberry Pi anyway, so you might as well skip the adapter and plug it straight into the Pi.
Yeah.
How about pecan pie?
Yeah, you could do that. That'd be kind of weird.
This would work on a Raspberry Pi 400 or 800, which are fairly well available now. I think they just released a whole nother batch of them out to the public. And the weird part is that they're the keyboard Raspberry Pi models. So, you know, it would be kind of awkward just to have a keyboard sitting on your desk that has this radio sticking out the back of it that you're really not typing on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of overkill, but you can get Pi 400s and 800s. I mean, like last year, I guess it was about last year, when you could not get a Raspberry Pi, no matter how much drug money you had stashed away, you could buy a Pi 400 all day. I think I have 2 of them in my stash.
This will not run on a Pi Pico. The Pi Pico is a microcontroller and not a small ARM-based Linux computer, so it won't do the thing that you're looking for it to do. They are pretty neat. I do have a project coming up that's going to be using a Pi Pico, but we won't talk about that tonight. We'll save that for a future episode. So I am sharing out the screen from W0CHP. Let me embiggen that a little bit for you.
Don, that is an outstanding question, and I would love to find one. That'd be pretty cool.
Right here.
And
then your USB adapter thing. The problem is the software for Pi-Star.
Yeah.
So you need to run, I think it's Blue DV on Windows.
Blue DV will not work with that.
But it will work with that USB to MMDVM hat adapter thingy.
Yeah, I mean, the USB hat thing is what gives it power in the interface. And then you still have to put an MMDVM hat on it. They kind of misnamed it when they called it that. But I mean, like, I would love to have an MMDVM board I could stick in my Linux machine that's sitting back here running all the time that does Pi-hole and Plex and a few other things and use it for a hotspot. It'd be great. But
so I think the first thing we need to talk about is W0CHP's amazing sense of humor. So he's got this thing about reading the facts. This code project is a moving target, has bugs like any code does, can be unstable. It also consumes more system resources due to the myriad improvements. Do not ask for support on any official or unofficial Pi-Star support page. This is not Andy's Pi-Star software. Some really, really great users, fans, and contributors to Dash have set up a Facebook group. There is a chat module on XLX493. Do not ask for support. Repo and issue tracker is for developers, hackers, contributors only. Read the facts again. Let's go look at the facts. How do I install it? I can't even believe this is asked. I'm not going to answer it. Like, if you don't know how to install it, don't go to his website. That's why you come to us, so we can help you install things. I'm trying to update, but I keep getting an error. Cannot reach the update server. The URLs for this update server changed a long time ago, and it's been a long time since you have updated. To address this, simply run the following command line, and you will be able to update subsequently. And he goes on and on like that. And if that type of sense of humor is not for you, then maybe there's some cat videos out there for you. But at the bottom of the page, he comes right back around again. I'm scrolling all the way down to the bottom. And he's doing a fantastic job. But in these credits, the man really shines, and I really appreciate it because he gives credit where credit is due to everybody that deserves it and is very grateful. So he just doesn't want to deal with tech support. And I've dealt with tech support for a long time, and I can totally understand that. So with all that put aside, this is the software that we played with very briefly, very quickly last week, and we wanted to go down the rabbit hole of playing with it a little bit more tonight. So we need to find the download link. Installing the dashboard. Installing via a disk image. I'm going to start from scratch. Jim, you said you were going to try and update?
I can, sure.
I mean, whatever you want to do, but that was where we last left it. So I have my...
I say a lot of things. Most of them are
You do.
not
I have
true.
my SD card. I'm shoving my SD card in the SD card hole.
I'm practicing
hole.
to be the president of the United States someday. That's my goal.
And then I'm not going to try and back that drive up. I am going
I
to run my
misspoke.
favorite. I didn't inhale.
I did not have sex with that woman.
Favorite imaging tool called Etcher. Let me just stop sharing this and share the entire screen so you guys can see it. Okay, and there is Etcher. So I need to flash from file. And in my downloads file, I have the W0CHP Pi-Star dashboard latest from last week. I'm going to open that. And Etcher makes it really easy to flash USB drives because it only gives you the USB drives to choose from. And this is my USB card. It's a 64 gig card that I stuck in, so don't go formatting your hard disk because it's really, really hard to do that. And if you do, you're on your own. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to hit flash. And then we just kind of sit back and for a little bit.
Now, if you're playing along at home and you're going to do this on an existing Pi-Star install, you want to grab a backup of your Pi-Star before you do the deed.
Can you show us how to do that?
I am going right there. Please stand by.
This
All
is a
operators are
SanDisk
currently
64
busy.
gig Ultra SD card. And it's running at 50 megabytes per minute. 130 megabytes per minute. See, when Jim coughed, it got better. So Jim continued to feel bad, and my downloads go faster.
You know, it rained a lot last night. We had some severe weather down here. Fortunately, everybody's all right. We did not have near the drama that Mississippi had Friday night. But it rained a whole lot, and I, for one, welcome the rain gods because I'm hoping it washed the yellow scourge away.
The yellow snow.
Yeah.
So they're actually talking about the decompression step was really slow, and that's a Windows 11 thing. This machine is a i9 12th generation running at 4 gigahertz. It should really fly, and Windows does not allow it to spread its wings.
All right. Do you want to see the Pi-Star interface?
Go for it.
You ready for that while we're watching paint dry there? So let me embiggen this a little bit. So this is my D-Star hotspot, which hasn't been used in a hot minute. And I'm going to log into it. You got to go to config and then log in with your
Screen is just white now.
Yeah.
There it is.
Because it was waiting on the password.
Okay.
So right here we have backup and restore. So click that, click download configuration, wait a hot second, and it downloaded your
entire Pi-Star config in a zip file. So if you decide that this ain't for you and you want to go back, probably still have to reload a default install of Pi-Star. I don't believe you're going to be able to reinstall this over the top of the new dashboard stuff, but it still gives you a way back without having to reconfigure everything. I don't know. You know, to me, it's kind of not that worth the time. I can reconfigure Pi-Star fast enough. I mean, I've done it enough times that I don't really need the backup, but that's how you would grab a backup. If you are unsure, I highly recommend a backup. All right. So now I have a backup of my Pi-Star, and I'm going to get out of that tab there. And I got to stop that, and I'm going to present this. Window, there we go. So now this is the SSH session into the Pi-Star you just saw the web interface for. So we're going to find that real screen so I can see what I'm typing. The only thing about sharing the screen, there it is. I share the screen with you guys and I start trying to type on the actual StreamYard window here and it doesn't work, and I'm always amazed.
I do that all the time.
All the time. So we're going to set him to read write. So now I can write on it. I'm going to change to root because that's how I roll. Deal with it. And then I'm going to wait for Sparky to catch up.
I am caught up and I'm moving on to the next step. Your favorite step is writing out the WPA supplicant file so I can boot this thing onto my network.
Raj.
And somehow this thing knows that it's Windows carriage return line feed instead of Linux, but it doesn't appear to have a setting to change that. This is Windows Notepad.
I have the next step available when you're done. And again, Steve is doing a new install. And I'm going to upgrade an existing Pi-Star.
So I'm worried, quote unquote, that the Windows carriage return line feeds are not going to be correct for this. So I'm going to not save that file that way, and I'm going to do it a different way.
Did you do it off the Pi-Star website? It will give you the correct file format with the right end characters.
Right. I did not do that.
That would be a good thing to show these folks.
Sure.
What you think?
I was going to do it on another. That is not the right thing. That is also not the right thing. This is the thing I don't like. The Pi-Star website is not the Pi-Star website.
Right, it's different.
There it is, Pi-Star.uk.
Yeah. And then go to, is it Pi-Star Tools? Ooh. Oh, there we go. I can read it.
Tools, Wi-Fi Builder.
Yep.
Okay.
And so here you would pick your country code, and then your Wi-Fi SSID, and then your password that we can all see.
Yeah. And then it wants to save it, so I'll go ahead and save it onto...
And you save it to the boot file, the boot folder of your SD card.
Yes. Okay, and now it is saved to the boot folder of my SD card.
And that's the file we're looking for right there, is that WPA_supplicant.config. So when your Pi boots, instead of having to go through the waiting 5 or 10 minutes for it to decide it doesn't have access to Wi-Fi and becoming an access point itself, and then you have to connect to it and set all that stuff and go through about 4 reboots before you feel the love. This way it will boot up with your Wi-Fi already installed. And this is a step that I highly recommend this.
Yes.
When I found out about this little thing, I was like, oh, that is so cool.
Steven, Sublime Text is a fantastic tool. I love it. Atom is another good one. I don't have either of those two installed on this Windows machine. And I'm normally a command line junkie, so I'm normally using a command line editor. I've used Windows for a long time. I've now moved from Mac OS back to Windows, and I'm not liking it. But it is what it is. Yeah. Sorry, somebody's going to leave, I know. But I wanted to bring this up in Notepad and show that the Windows Notepad now does understand the Unix line feeds down here at the bottom. And so I need to remove this from the screen and put in my real password. Otherwise, this whole exercise won't work.
So if you're in the wilds of extreme northern Wisconsin, you can't steal Steve's Wi-Fi by parking at his driveway in 7 feet of snow where he could see you and maybe aim a Freedom Seed dispenser at your tires.
Yes, it always amazed me. People are like, I'm going to hide the SSID of my Wi-Fi network. Dude, if I happen to be driving through your neighborhood, I already know it. Number one, because you're broadcasting the thing.
Right.
And then number two, your password is the least of my concerns. If I'm outside your house and I really had intent and motive, I would just go take your computer.
Now, I will tell you, if you live in an apartment complex, I was on it. I moved to Ohio for a job, and so I was staying in a corporate apartment for I think I was there 6 weeks before I told them to go away. But I got there on a weekend, and there was no internets in the house, so I just borrowed my neighbor's Wi-Fi for 3 or 4 days.
Months.
No, I got my own, but theirs was excellent over the weekend. They had good speed.
Yeah.
And that's well past the statute of limitations, so don't send the cable police to me. But yeah, it's not hard to crack Wi-Fi passwords, even with the newer standards. I don't know, maybe WPA2 is better, but this was back in 2009, so there was a lot of routers still with web passwords, which is just...
Okay, you said you were ready for the next step?
Yeah.
Because I have inserted the SD card into the Pi.
And we can do that. Why don't you just go through your procedure so we're not bopping back and forth, and then I'll do mine. Okay. That may be easier.
So I'm plugging it in, and it's doing the first boot up, and that first boot up thing tries to expand the file system. So it takes a couple of minutes on the very first boot.
Exactly, my friend. Wi-Fi is for the NSA listening devices sold by Amazon, which I have several. My real computers are not on Wi-Fi. And it's not a security thing. I just want more speed. James.
So right now I'm just watching paint dry while I'm waiting for this thing to boot up.
All right, well, then, what do you think? I mean, do we want to bop back and forth, or you want me to fill in the dead space, or...
You said you had the next step queued up.
You're the talent, man. I'm just the sidekick. So.
I'm just waiting for the machine to boot right now. There's
okay.
not much I can do other than that.
All right. So if you're on the web page, this is the installing the dash on an existing hotspot. I am running 4.16 on this hotspot. I've already opened the SSH instance. And then this command downloads the install instructions and forces it to display a help text. And then these are the options you can give it for what you want to do. So we're going to do an install of dashboard. So I am going to tell it this command. That's not showing up for y'all, is it? No, it's not. I can't share that screen at the same time. Damn it.
No, you can only, yeah.
Yeah, all right, hang on. I'm just prattling away about a screen nobody can see.
It's not like we're
I
not
thought we could
live
share
in
two
front of an
screens.
audience or anything.
Right.
I
thought
share
we
the
could
whole
share
screen.
2 screens. Oh, yeah.
I have a dedicated screen just for sharing because I
don't.
love all of y'all.
I mean, I like them fairly well, but I don't. Love is such a strong word. Okay. So this command is the first one I ran right here, and this gives us our command line options for what we want to do. So I want to do this one because I'm going to install the dashboard. I don't know enough about style sheets to know if I care about this. I think that's just like changing colors and stuff. And it's more complicated web development hoo-ha that I just don't care about. So I'm not going to do that one. We're not restoring the dashboard, but this is interesting because right here, if you install this and decide you hate this, you can come back here and from your command line restore your original dashboard. And then it's got a status command, which is also cool. So when we're ready to install, run the above command again with the option argument you wish, e.g. And we want S and ID, which is what he's already got. So we're going to copy that. And then I am going to remove that screen.
Oh, Steven's saying if you don't use the CSS, your hotspot will stay green like you had it. Instead of turning
that's
to a
fine.
new gray.
I set it to green. I have all my hotspots are all different colors.
Very wise. It's like having a different root password on the production machine versus the development machine so you don't accidentally restart the main database server in the middle of the day.
You do that? Oh. Should I be? Never mind.
I have people that do that.
I'm probably the world's worst Unix admin because I violate a whole lot of things. So that command that I was just telling you guys about is the one I ran here, and here's our options. So I have already copied this, and there's our install command. And I'm going to whack enter. Custom CSS detected. I have changed the color on my Pi.
Oh, it did not. It said making a backup and mapping stock Pi-Star colors.
That's fine. To remap, recustomize your CSS manually, please see blah, blah, blah. It's fine.
Well, that's why we do this. And if we get stuck or make a mistake or screw something up, we'll fix it.
Well, yeah, I have used this before. I did this probably a year or two ago. Maybe before I knew the glory of hanging out with you and Chuck and Ape. And played with it, and I thought, well, that's pretty cool. And for one reason or another, and I was telling Steve this the other day, for one reason or another, I whacked it and went back to stock. Oh, Lord.
Doug, thank you. Thank you, Doug.
He needs some milk.
I worked at a company where the developers who were working on a user story had to walk the user story all the way through to a production release, all the way through to the finish of delivery, which was pretty neat.
I have never heard that phrase.
Push to
User
production.
story?
User story? Yeah, you're an old fart.
Son, I can read punch card holes.
I bet you can. It's this thing called agile methodology.
Okay, that's some of that hippie object stuff, man.
Everything is broken down into a consumable, digestible thing instead of going update the database server. You know, start with like the little teeniest, tiniest part that you can accomplish in a week or in 2 weeks, and then consider it done, and then go to the next tiniest part. And if a story takes more than 2 weeks, then the story is too big.
Okay.
It's doing something over there. You're installing a whole bunch of prerequisites.
Yeah. Don, we are brothers, my friend. Hollerith code, that's right.
on an IBM 029 key punch. I remember during one of my college careers doing all my coding on punch cards, and then you submit the deck to the BOFH behind the counter, and they run the deck and then give you a listing with all your errors, and then you go lather, rinse, repeat, and do it again. I remember when I discovered the beauty of an integrated edit compile cycle, how cool I thought that was. No LCI cannot read CW on a waterfall display. And Matt, I'm with you, man. My first computer was an 1170, a DEC 1170. And I actually had my own 1123 in my house. And in spite of that, my wife married me.
So I think what we should do is let yours run through the update, and if anything magical happens, we'll
go
back to yours.
I'll wait. Yeah.
But mine, and nobody can see that, mine is now up and running because the WPA supplicant file trick worked this time. Last week it wouldn't let me access the SD card for some reason. I don't know what was going on. So it comes up and it says, I have no idea what I am, so I'm going to take you to the configuration page. If you just are patient and wait long enough, it poof drops you in here. So
now it got you on your Wi-Fi, right?
It did. Yep.
Okay.
Nothing special other than that config file that we generated at the Pi-Star page. And last week it was a Windows problem, but this week I forced my way through it. Hostname Pi-Star is just fine. Node call sign is my call sign. Use yours. 438.800 is not the one I want to use. I think it's 443 something. What is my other Pi-Star? Is that going to work? That is going to work.
That's
this
beautiful,
is my old
man.
Pi-Star. I want to make sure I get the same RF address, the radio frequency.
Ronald Collins is restarting.
Excellent. Got some people playing along at home. I love it.
That's what I'm saying. That's outstanding. Mine is still cooking. Let me move that window over there.
443.125. That's what I thought it was. Latitude and longitude, you can set those to your own personal latitude and longitude if you want. Because that's going to change as I'm driving around, so it kind of doesn't matter. Country is good old US. Steve said this URL doesn't matter. The URL used to access this dashboard. I think that it does.
If you change it to auto, Steve, if you change it to auto, it will fix it. And it should go to qrz.com/KM9G automatically, I believe.
Well, so if you hover over, now there's tooltips. The gateway URL is the URL used to access this dashboard. So that's different than what you're talking about.
Oh, it is. Okay, never mind. Y'all copy down his IP address.
Just in case you're in the neighborhood and have figured out my Wi-Fi password. I'm not doing the APRS gateway. We might play with that later. Because I don't know what that's all about. And then set time zone. Time zone is going to be America/Chicago. Time format 12 hours because I don't like 24-hour time because I'm that guy. English US is fine. Update notifier is enabled. I'm just going to hit apply changes. I do these one block at a time. It might take a little bit longer, but I'm not 100% sure if you can do all of them at once. And then just apply changes once.
Are you applying?
I am applying.
Let me steal the stream.
Go ahead.
So that's it. That's what I typed. Just copied that command off the W0CHP dashboard page.
And if you scroll up, there's no errors?
There's no errors. That's the start. It did its back-end maintenance stuff. It updated some packages. It installed some packages. several packages, no errors. So we can move that over there, remove that, and then I'm going to refresh this.
Oh, Ronald, that's awesome. He said update over the web left all previous settings up, and he's up and running on the new dashboard. Excellent.
Yep. It looks like it worked really well. Let me stop. Let me present. Did you see that email from Gage at StreamYard today? You can apparently customize your StreamYard experience.
Yeah, right below the StreamYard screen, there's now a pencil and a plus sign.
So we could put Ape in like a teeny tiny window by himself or something?
We could put Ape in the corner. Nobody puts Ape in the corner.
I've had the time of my life. The wife has seen that movie like 1,000 times. Unfortunately, I remember too much of it. Okay.
Oh, the colors are back.
Yeah. Oh my God, I hate that color. I'd call that salmon, fellas.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's not quite orange. Let's see, can I make this a wee bit smaller so I can actually use a little less? How does that look on your side, Steve?
It's fine. I can read it. It's good.
Okay.
And it remembered your last few D-Star conversations. Apparently there was people talking on D-Star today, including you.
That's probably this thing sending the dingus when it
the info.
When it connected up. But you'll also notice, look here, son.
M17, look at you, boy.
This is where I was last week when Steve and
Steve and
Ed were on. I was messing with manually editing this stuff in the advanced config. And I turned on all the M17 stuff that was in the advanced config, but I could never get it to show up. And now it's shown up. So very cool. So let's do this. Let's go to config.
Yeah, because you didn't understand it properly last time. And now you're caught up to where I am. But it remembered your modem type because it forgot mine. Which modem are you using, by the way?
I think this is the STM32. Nope, the HS hat.
HS hat. And there's an HS hat with 2 call signs, and there's an HS hat with 3 call signs. And I think we found out that the one with 3 call signs didn't work for us for some reason.
Well, yeah. That's because this is a dual hat. So when you're looking
there's
at
another one farther down the list.
Okay. That's USB, not GPIO.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
That's the HS. So there's GPIO hats and there's USB dinguses. And there's a whole lot of them in here. And see, now that's a completely different HS dual hat. And that's GPIO as well. There's a different HS hat. They've added a bunch of them in here that I've never seen before.
Joe, I'll have my turn in a minute.
So, well, then go. Are you done? He's sassing. I called you because I was concerned about you in Mississippi. See? I mean, Alabama loves Mississippi because we're not last in everything.
So we set that to auto, Jim, and you're right. It did pull up the QRZ, but then this tooltip doesn't work because that is not... This URL takes you to my QRZ page, which hasn't been updated in who knows when. Yeah,
that's never accessed the dashboard. The dashboard should show up on your main, the URL shows up on your main login screen. You log in SSH.
Yeah, that's just weird. Okay, so we have the modem baud rate set, and we have the HS hat set, and we have no modes enabled on mine. So I'm going to enable DMR mode, and we'll leave it at that for now.
Steve, Joe Brett's being mean to me. I'm triggered.
Keep it up, Joe Brett. The brother banter has to continue. That is correct. All right, so I'm going to set up the OLED, which y'all can't see because my USB cable is too short, but I'd like to be able to see it.
That's what she said.
That my USB cable is too short?
The Now, what M17 reflector did you connect to last week, Steve?
Charlie.
Oh, there's a lot of them out here.
I have no idea what any of those are.
Well, I see a whole bunch of 3-digit ones, and I see a whole bunch of 3-letter ones that look like country codes. I don't see no Charlie. It had to be a number because this is like D-Star. Did you have a number? Do you remember that?
No, it's just C. I think we skipped that part. But
Yeah,
that
see,
is-
because there's a startup reflector and then your CAN.
that's
I don't
on this SD card here. So I can't look at it for you. You don't have an M17 radio anyway.
No, I don't, but I was going to, see if I could see you key up. Whoa.
Really? Really, really, really?
Well, I'm going to connect to 000 C. So I'm on M17-000 Charlie. Yeah, Glenn says he thinks that's it. Scott says something completely different.
That's not the right password.
Steve and I did that last week, actually. You guys didn't see all that because I wasn't sharing it.
M17 is your startup reflector instead of M17000. According to the chat.
Yeah, that's the one I did. M17-000 Charlie.
Somewhere in here, I was supposed to put in my DMR ID. I stole it back. So there's my DMR ID, and then I changed the DMR mode enable. I changed the OLED type to 6. I left the port what it thought the port was, and then I need to change my Brandmeister network settings to get onto regular Brandmeister.
And just reset my modem.
And we'll go to 3103 because reasons. Leave Brandmeister network enable. And I'm going to scroll past all this other stuff for all these other networks. I'm going to hit apply changes again. And we'll see if that works. Now we're back on your screen.
Okay. I'm
And then
waiting on an update.
M17C is the developer reflector where they have the weekly net. How long does that weekly net usually take, Ted? Because I came in, I want to say, like 45 minutes after it started, and it was over with.
Yes, I know the modem selection got updated.
Okay, and it does that. It forgets its modem all the time.
Yes.
So I'm going to go back to the dashboard because I should. I'm on the DMR net. Network status is good. But I have not gotten to the mode status yet. So it does not know the modem firmware, so I probably have the wrong modem configured.
Did you updated your firmware last week, right?
I did. So I mean, what I'm saying is it hasn't found the modem for some reason. There's only one to choose from.
Okay. That's all good.
I did type in a Brandmeister password. I'm not sure if it's the right one. Jeff is asking if that's what I did.
Does that show up in the log? I don't remember if it'll show up and tell you bad password or it just doesn't connect. Yeah, it doesn't connect. You'll see it connecting to gateway disconnected, something like that over and over. Those two messages. It doesn't say bad password.
Okay, now I'm on the DMR net.
Why are you on DMR?
Why not?
I thought we were doing M17. Oh, you're just showing.
Just doing the dashboard. And it's ready.
Oh, son, well, that's why I'm fooling with M17. Okay.
I was going to say, it wouldn't matter. No matter how hard you fooled with it, you couldn't hear nothing.
Well, no, but I could see your name pop up. It'd be like, oh, there's Steve.
At the end of this, we should be able to make a QSO and see some stuff show up. But DMR mode status was green. Ain't green no more.
Give it a second. It takes a minute sometimes.
But it's still not showing me the modem firmware.
Okay. Do you guys, Scott, do you remember the CAN when we talked about this last week? Jody, Steven, any of you guys that were paying attention last week? Because this is asking for a CAN as well, and it's set to 0, but I don't know if I need to change that to something else. I'm just going to leave it at 0 for now. Everything else looks copacetic. Let's go look at the dashboard. Boom, and I am M17 green, man.
Nice. I don't see any M17 peoples on there yet.
No, and I actually was going to just say turn off DMR too. Boy, it's been a minute. He's done some upgrades on this.
Yeah.
So changing modes is a little different.
I'm looking for the logs right now.
Go to admin live logs.
You say that like we haven't installed a completely new version of the dashboard that doesn't look the way the old one did.
It's still the same thing. If you're on the main page, go to admin and then you'll see live logs. See? Right there.
All right, so I got the logs going in one page. Whoa, hold on. Unable to read the firmware version after 6 attempts.
Oh, that's a problem.
All right, so I did a restart. I'm sharing my screen now of the dashboard to try and reconnect to the modem. And we'll see if anything new shows up in the logs. And so far, no is the answer. Okay, now it says that Pi-Star Dash is starting. Carlos, you're way behind on the stream. Play it at 2x to catch up. Of course, by the time you get here, you will have been caught up, or you'll still be way behind, but in the future, still behind. I don't know. Time travel.
Carlos Felix, what's up, my friend? Hawk says you got the wrong modem.
I believe it. Last week, right in the middle of doing this, it did prompt us for an upgrade. So I'm just doing the upgrade right now just to be safe. And then I'll do the modems again. Real time, I think. Yeah, Carlos, you're pretty close. Scrubber on YouTube sucks. Just saying.
So this is interesting. Once you globally configure your modes, your digital voice modes, then you can go and pause that digital voice mode without completely turning it off.
Oh, nice. I was looking forward to that.
But you have to configure the digital modes before, or you cannot. You can't do the pause thing. You won't be able to pause it and resume it. It has to have been configured. So let me enable DMR on this.
And on my side, it says that the update process finished. No complaints or anything. Let's go back to the dashboard. And then we'll go into configuration and try and configure that modem again.
I don't remember what I'm running this on. I wonder if this is my Pi 2. Which may be, because it's taken a hot minute when I had to reconfigure. Jason said Carlos was on time. We're just premature.
Okay.
I've never been premature. Interesting. So Steven's saying when he tried pausing it while receiving, it got confused. That would not surprise me.
So there is an admin, I think it's admin tools look and feel, and you can get rid of that red. You can change it over to this awesome dark mode.
Let me see if I can even remember my Brandmeister password.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm running the Pi-Star find modem command to see if it'll tell me
What you got?
which Pi-Star I got.
Yeah.
So I have the right port and the right speed, but that modem data doesn't really tell me anything useful. And if it can detect this thing, why not just detect it? Why ask me?
Did you get your Brandmeister API key? I don't think I have to have that for this to work.
You don't have to have it for it to work. What that does is it enables you to disconnect. I believe everything will work except for that feature.
Yeah, the talk groups from the Brandmeister side.
Yeah, disconnecting noisy talk groups. Like if you key into America Link and then you can't get them to ever shut up.
Well, you can. Yeah, I don't know. Because you can disconnect talk groups from the Brandmeister interface. That's what that's saying. Is that what you're saying?
From the Pi-Star Brandmeister disconnect page. I think it's under admin or something.
On the Pi-Star side.
Yeah, so you can do it on your side with the API key in Pi-Star, or you can do it on the website all the time.
Okay. I was thinking that was the other way around, but whichever. I'm going to go find my key.
And now you magically have the modem because I picked a different one that it should not have worked with. And my call sign shows up on the gateway. I picked a dual hat just to kind of kick it in the pants. Hank's saying scroll up.
I saw that. I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay, now I kicked it in the butt again. I gave it the right... It's found it. And now I'm on the net. Let's see if I can get into the Toes Talk group.
I'm trying to find my API key.
I don't know that I have it programmed into this radio. What's the Toads Talk group ID, Jim? I know you have this memorized.
319-2083.
KM9G on Toads DMR. Look, I show up on my own dashboard. And I think my favorite feature about this is the live caller feature. Look at that. Hank, I got you back, but I didn't hear you very clearly. %64 loss.
Is that what you're showing? Is that what's your BER?
My BER is 0.3.
You should be good. That may be on Hank's side.
Yeah. So, Randy, last week I did have the HS hat with 2 call signs after it. This week I also have that same setup. But for some reason, what I had to do was I had to pick this. Then I had to pick a different one, and then I had to go back and pick this again. That was it. I changed it from itself back to itself, and now it magically works. So there's a bug there somewhere. So now we got this thing up and running. That's Paul from Garland, Texas, KC5MVE. Why am I getting so much loss? KG4ICG, I'm getting a bunch of loss on that one too. And Joe Brett says he heard Hank very clear. So it's got to be me now. But we're back to simplex radio mode. So that's good. Oh, you know what this might be? This might be that offset junk.
Well, that's going to be your BER, not your throughput. Is your BER showing red or green? I'm looking at my screen, not yours, at the moment.
My BER is 0.3%.
Is it green or red?
It is green.
It's not your BER. Your BER is between your radio and the Pi-Star. That's an RF thing. The packet loss is a network thing. And that's a little harder to figure out where that's at. So that could be your internets. It could also be on his side. It's a little hard to tell. So your Pi-Star is on Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Right.
But so is the stream.
Okay.
I don't wire in.
Well, hang on. Let me get to. I've got this thing configured now. Good Lord, there's a lot of options in here. I am.
Oh, they're blaming your bridge, Jim. Now it's personal.
What?
Kilo Mike 9 Golf on Toads DMR. KM9G on Toads DMR. .2 got better. It's kind of hard to mess with the features if I can't hear nobody.
Right. Hang on, son. I'm getting there.
I'll just sit here in live caller mode. Mike heard me just fine. Joe Brett heard me just fine. Doug heard me just fine. So it's getting out fine. It's not coming back fine. Who's working on DMR only, not on crossing modes?
Okay. Ooh, let me get off the fire department's channel.
Hank says he's DMR only, and Scott is DMR only, and I can't hear either of you two. So I'm not hearing things very well.
KN4YCD KM9G.
Nothing at all. Let's go back to the dashboard, see if you showed up. No, you didn't show up at all.
This radio is not set for this hotspot.
I see Glenn.
So let me make a change here. This radio is set up for my other DMR, my original DMR hotspot, which I'm not using.
Toads is 319-2083.
319-2083, yes. Yeah, that's the problem. Receive, delete, 430. Confirm. How many zeros are you supposed to type in on the...
4, I think.
Nope.
CPU usage on Pi-Star, so it's 5.
5.
Kilo Mike 9 Golf testing on Toads DMR. He said somewhere in his documentation.
KM9G, KN4YCD.
KN4YCD, heard you loud and clear.
Boom.
Hank says I want to do STM for my modem. Okay, let's go do that. Configuration.
I can hear you guys loud and clear.
That's Phil. Phil's coming through good. Now everything's working fine, and I didn't change anything.
Phil, you are 5 by 5, amigo.
Let's pick that one. Let's apply changes.
Roger, 5 by 5. You're 5 by 9.
Okay. I do it the military way that I learned a long time ago. 5'9". You're 5'9", Phil.
Well, we only took an hour to get this far.
I'm not smart enough to have a 9-point scale. It's a 5-point scale.
USL.
It's a 3-letter scale.
Yeah. And Steve, you blasted in here just fine too. So
I did, and then I made a change to the modem type again. because I like to live on the edge.
Why did it change? Oh, you're still...
You're making it all the way down to the southern part of Wisconsin. You guys are doing good.
Phil, are you in Milwaukee? Because if you are, I'm
Kilo
jealous,
Mike
man.
9 Golf on the STM modem instead of the MMDVM modem.
STM modem instead of the MMDVM modem.
Loud and clear, dude.
Somebody on B-Star. Anyone running a dual MMDVM on a Pi-0W?
15 miles from Lake Geneva. Out clear K0WAV.
Oh, there's Scott from Colorado. I lived in Milwaukee for a while. It was great. We always went to the Miller Brewery for the tour and got free beer. And Pabst and Schlitz.
Man, good here at WCR.
And there's Ron.
There you go. Ronald.
You know, Ron is
Walensky.
laughing right now that we're both running Windows.
Yes, I know. Living on the edge, man. Living on the edge.
Milwaukee.
This has got to be my favorite feature of this dashboard. This live caller. Check out my screen, Jim.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reveling in my own. Look at that.
Now, when somebody else talks, somebody else key up and say something. There we go. Oh, that's Ron still.
Well, that's Ron Collins from Virginia.
There it is.
There we go.
And then Mike.
Sounds good in the UK.
Excellent.
Mike, I thought you said you were 2OM for this. Swadlincott. Nice.
There's James from Hoopston. I know where Hoopston's at.
Hoopston.
Hoopston. I think that's what they call it. They don't say Hoopston.
Still getting a lot of packet loss. Why am I getting packet loss? Because it was fine for half a second.
There's Kansas. There's... I didn't catch that one.
Whiskey Bravo 8 Golf Romeo Sierra.
Texas.
Yeah, I'm back to getting packet loss.
Let me see what I got going on my dashboard.
Somebody called in as K-Toads.
So look here, son. Here's my dashboard. And I've got a BER of 0
Loss of 0.
and almost... Yeah, that one popped up with 5%, but...
What is your Brandmeister server?
3102.
3102. I'm on 3103. Let me switch to 3102.
Okay.
Because why not?
Is my screen up on the stream or
Yes.
It's yours? Okay.
You told me to look at it, so I'm looking at it.
I'm looking at my own screen too, so I don't know what you're showing. So this is cool, and I don't remember that this is in original Pi-Star, but with this one I remember this
Yes.
feature. You can turn off Kerchunks and then turn on caller deets. We can turn on, off, and hide Kerchunks. So that's beautiful. How were you getting that big screen? Was that these things?
Go at the very top.
Yeah.
There you go. And then it says live caller with the heart where it says.
Oh,
dashboard
okay,
simpler.
okay.
That. Click that thing.
And then display talk group names. Yeah, I like that. That ain't bad. And then live caller.
AS9G on 3102 now. 3102.
Gotcha, brother.
What is XLX950E? That's something that's in this configuration.
XLX what?
You're on 3102 now?
950E.
I don't know what that is. Steve.
I am on 3102, but I'm still getting errors. I didn't even get that packet here at all. I heard it on Jim's radio.
Steve, Alan said packet loss of 0 on Phil's call, W60.
Hank, you had 0 packet loss on Phil's call?
He's on the 3102 Brandmeister server, KI6QFI here in Southern California.
Yeah, see, that's coming from them and it's no packet loss. Key up and call me, Steve, or something like that.
Well, here you find in Southern California.
Kilo Mike 9 Golf on Toads DMR. KM9G on Toads DMR. Packet loss 0% from me and to you.
I don't know. Ron from Virginia, this is really cool showing it like this, because before...
Audio's a little low there, Steve, but I copy you.
And how come Shane got a bigger screen? Shane, what is that? Why is your screen bigger than everybody else's? Because he's got a long name?
Kilo Mike 9 Golf, using my radio voice. Kilo Mike 9er Golf.
Radio voice. Kilo Mike 9er Golf.
See the difference in the bar size? That's interesting.
I think Shane's last name was longer, so it word wrapped.
Maybe because Shane's using DMR and I'm on YSM. Just kid you for ICG.
Ron, I'm on DMR too. Did my name show up huge? Well, you don't know unless you have the thing on.
Oh, yeah, just
KN4 YCD, KN4 Y, K. Oh God, KMG M9G. God, I'm having a stroke. I'm having a stroke.
Can you smell rain? What was that one the other day?
He was always called on his hat.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. Okay, I smell my own aura, or I just need a bath. One of the two.
Jim is having a Chuck moment. Jim is having a Chuck moment. K0WAV.
That's exactly right. Boys, if y'all haven't got this installed, you need to install this. This is
It may be because my last name is so long, and it took me to the third grade to learn how to spell it, and that's a true story. Hi.
I could see a lot of third grade level boy jokes in that last name. You know,
Falconberry. Wasn't that a breakfast cereal? Yeah, so Phil, no, I'm still getting 40-some%.
I just want to see what I'll find on the screen, considering I see.
he hasn't showed up yet. The last one I got is you.
K-Toads, that's not me.
It's not fun to get through, and my big error rate is quite high. But the packet loss is very okay, too much to me.
Hey, buddy.
Now, Glenn came through just fine from the other side of the flat earth.
And I don't... That's interesting, because Shane's is that extra width.
Yeah, I got that 0%.
Huh. That's got to be a network error, but... What internet...
Mike 9 Golf on Toads DMR.
So, Mike 9 Golf on Toads DMR.
Is the old lady watching TV or something, too?
Why isn't the stream suffering?
Well, that's true.
Yeah, it just comes and goes.
That's weird.
I did
What's
turn
your
off that
ISP
950.
this week? Are you still on satellite?
No, this is Lakeland Communications,
Okay.
which is the local, and it's fiber to the house, and then it's Wi-Fi from the other room.
Right.
It's not that
Right.
far away. Let's do.
Yeah, Steven, it smells like burnt toast. I smell bitter almonds.
Go.
Hey, Anthony. Anthony stood me up, man. He's paying me back for standing you up at Orlando. He was driving through the Montgomery area, and we were going to meet up for a cup of joe. And then he had to bail on me, but because I am a good ham bro, I did not give him much grief about it at all. Really? Nothing?
Yeah, this is the speed I'm paying for.
Anthony, how are you, brother?
Yep, speed is just fine. Because what is the bandwidth usage of Brandmeister talking? Like 8 kilobits a second or something like that?
Oh, it's going to be low. It's going to be real low. I mean, the entire channel width is only 12.5K, right? So
Yeah, it's not even regular voice.
Yeah. Well, Dusty, fiber doesn't give you speed. Fiber gives you distance. Steve is a cheap guy, and he doesn't want to pay for more. I'm on coax. I'm on coax. I have a gig here.
I could pay for more, but it doesn't get me anything any better.
Cheap.
James, thank you.
James, thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
In celebration of our Windows errors awesomeness.
This is Sparta!
I like to mix it up a little bit.
So I have this DMR plus IP SC2. I don't know what that is. I'm going to go turn that off. That's what you do when you don't know what something is. You just turn it off.
Which is,
Free
what did you
DMR
turn off?
HB link. I haven't done it yet. I turned off the XLX thing, but now I'm also turning off the DMR plus free DMR HB link because I don't use those.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just less burden on your machine anyway.
But this is a Pi 4. I mean, it should be fine.
Joe Brett, you have fiber? Jeez, the only fiber I get's in the box from the store.
We're going to have to make an announcement on the Toads DMR when the Nuggets show starts.
Oh, we need to do that. I was also thinking, somebody mentioned this the other day, and it might have been you. We need to drop an announcement in the Discord as well when we're about to start a show. Because somebody was saying, I never get the notification from YouTube. And I'm like, well, that's a true statement.
YouTube is not the brother that we want. It's just the brother that we have.
It's the brother we deserve.
All right, so the DMR master.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
Thank you,
that was a nice cup of
Anthony.
coffee, too.
I was going to buy him a cup of... We're going to hit up the Starbucks or the Denny's or the McDonald's or something and grab a cup of Joe. Probably Starbucks because they got chairs for grown people. I like the coffee at the Waffle House, but the seats are so small.
Is MI7 2 times better than MI5?
Mm-hmm.
And we're just playing along with the software here. Who knows what's going on? This is Kilo Mike 9 Golf on Toads DMR.
Loud and clear, man.
Yeah. But that's going out. 0.2%.
Yep. That's fine, because if it's... I think it has to get above... I want to say above 1 maybe before it'll start fussing about it and it'll turn it red. Oh, Scott, you got a great idea there. Except he has no way to get it out. It'll only go like 2 digipeters out and then die.
Yeah. Once I get my iGate set up, then I'll start it
out.
up.
Of traffic I've heard on Toads in quite a while.
You know, we're looking for net control volunteers, right? TJ, you are just in time to tell us everything we need to know. Yes, you are my brother's kids.
I got quiet.
So let's play with the dashboard. Now that we got it all working, like I said, I do like that live caller that Jim was playing with. Phil was the last caller. Let's go back to the main dashboard. What else is in here?
How do you get out of this? Just back it up, I guess.
You can hit the back button, or there's a button at the bottom. But it says CPU temp is 140F. That's pretty hot, but still fine. It's yellow. Now it's not yellow anymore. Let's see. So many responses. What is Simple View? Simple View just gets rid of the stuff on the left.
Oh, the status pages?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's Glenn. That is Glenn. He didn't say anything.
What's yours running at? 140?
Glenn, try to Glenn. Glenn, try to Glenn.
Try to Glenn?
Yeah. I messed up the first time, but then I just owned it the second time.
I was just trying a different course on, but it didn't work on the call signs.
All right, you came through loud and clear on that one.
Yeah, you can answer this thing.
Radio info at the top. And then, yeah, so simple view gets rid of all the stuff down the left-hand side. And it gets rid of the radio information at the top, but you can bring the radio information back, or you can bring the whole thing back. Let's go into sysinfo. Oh, there we go. CPU load, that's what I was looking for earlier, 7%. It's a Raspberry Pi 4, it's bored. And it's an 8 gig Pi 4. 200 megs of memory of 7.7 gigs. And it's using 1.75 gigs of the 64 gig card. Network traffic, 175 megabits per second down, 41 megabits per second up. That's actually pretty...
That's
pretty chunky.
megabytes, brother.
Yeah,
That's
it's capital B.
It's a capital B. That seems...
I bet that's total traffic, not current traffic.
That's got to be cumulative. It has to be.
'Cause it
There's
ain't-
no way.
It ain't doing nothing now.
If you were sending and receiving that much traffic, it would have melted the stream. If we're streaming on a 25 meg stream from your house without any problem,
Right.
that's got to be a cumulative. Yeah.
So do the key up on your radio, and we'll see if that number goes up on my side.
All right.
Mouse over for
KM9G
instant.
from KN4YCD.
I heard you. But the number didn't change.
Refresh your page.
Well, the CPU load changed.
I thought that was a dynamic page, but
I'm refreshing.
they may not poll for network stats constantly. Maybe. I don't know. Jason, I think it is. You probably have to install it.
Yeah, there's tooltips everywhere now.
Some of them are wrong, but they're there.
Manufactured by Sony in the UK. Uptime, 1 hour. Okay. We did live caller, and let's do admin. This
Yeah,
is
that's
how you
where I
learn
was
stuff. You just
exploring.
click on the buttons. Okay, so I clicked admin. There we go. We did the update. The update was very painless. It went out, checked for an update, found one, and installed it. Live logs. The live log screen looks a little bit different to me. I haven't used it all that much, though. Let's see. DMR gateway. Select.
Yeah, it's doing a tail of the
Kilo
syslog.
Mike 9 Golf on Toad's DMR. Looking at the live logs live on Ham Nuggets. Let's see if there's anything that shows up on my screen. So, Joe Brett, they're saying 02W is kind of the minimum, but try it. You know, it doesn't hurt to try it.
See if anything shows up on your screen.
Let's see
Nothing.
what I don't know what this is.
I guess it's no errors. Go back to admin.
Oh, just those things. Wait.
See,
So
I'm
this
getting
is new.
this is blank for me. It's not blank. It's there, but it's not displaying it for some reason.
Oh, it's white on white because you're CSS.
Yeah.
If I were you, I'd go through and I'd get rid of all that Pi-Star colors and go to the new colors. It's in there somewhere.
Yeah, I was trying to find where it tells me what my CPU is on this because I don't remember. Oh, I've got to resume all my modes. Oh, Lord. Well, that's irritating.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between a Pi 0 and a Pi 02W is enormous. The Pi 0 is a single core 700 megahertz CPU, I think. I think it's 700 megahertz. I know it's a single core. The Pi 02W is a 4 core. So you're already faster there. This hardware software details page is pretty nice.
The 02W is supposed to be equivalent to a 3B. I believe.
Configuration. No, we were in admin. Yeah, so admin system details is what you're looking for. But you were trying to change colors first.
Yeah, I can't get to the config until I resume my paused modes, which I'm waiting for to resume.
Resumed! And now I have more network traffic. But it went from 170 to 180, so it's not doing hardly anything. We got all these buttons. So I think you can turn off the admin main page. That wouldn't make much sense. Because where would you go to turn it back on?
I would assume the configuration. Scott, I did see that email. That was funny. Or interesting. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I did read it. Now, Ed and Steve were saying they've got a manufacturer they're working with who's going to do an M17 radio or something like that. Yeah, the thing about the batteries, because they were freaking huge. That's right. Y'all did not, if y'all watched that battery video, there was some video that was left on the cutting room floor that's also disappeared in a horrible boating accident where someone might have touched the shiny metal bits to each other and they shouldn't have touched.
Ooh, sparks were flying.
They were, and bad words were loosed. And one of those little meters that I was demoing on that video, the one that looks like a PowerWorks clone, it still comes on and kind of sort of works, but the amperage is flashing now and won't change. So it just shows 248 amps and just flashes. So I guess that's when the streams crossed. I'm not entirely sure. But I told y'all in that video that test rig I had set up was an OSHA violation in every country in the world.
Oh, okay. Let me share my screen out again. Are you done sharing what you were sharing? You just looking?
Oh, I was just looking for see what I saw.
All right, so I went in and did the Brandmeister API key. Wrong window.
Don't share that API key out now there.
No, because somebody will type it. Cryptic character by cryptic character. So this is the new screen where I can enter in static talk groups 3192083 time slot 2, and I want to add to static.
And I have a question from Glenn up on the screen we need to talk about.
Go for it.
So my ESSID, with regards to Brandmeister, that's so if you have multiple hotspots connected to Brandmeister, it's more for administrative purposes on the Brandmeister side. So if you have this hotspot A that's connected, in your shop or something or at work, and it's just any 2 digits, they're not relevant to anything except your brain for you to ID which DMR hotspot it is. So I have 3 or 4, and I can't remember what the last one is, so I've made it 10 because I know I don't have a 10. I could have made it 75 or 23 or 69, whatever.
Oh, neat.
So it's an ID thing for you to relate to that particular DMR hotspot with regards to Brandmeister. And then there was something else. Yes, Jason, I do sketchy stuff. I am sketchy.
So this has a bulk add, bulk delete for static talk groups. So let's see. I want to see if it'll do that. It says it'll take some time because Brandmeister doesn't support it, so they're kind of force feeding it into Brandmeister. 317.
Then I have 3 or 4.
3192083. And my second one, let's add them all.
It's just an ID number, Glenn. That's all it is. You can use any 2 numbers from, I guess, 01, maybe 0. I'm not sure, to 99.
It did the thing. It worked.
Oh, did you do the bulk talk group ad?
Yeah, I just added 2 talk groups. And it did. Instant Mode Manager, DMR Network Manager. What is DMR Network Manager? That's the... I can disable or enable it, but I can't add another one. And what is Instant Mode Manager? This enables... This is that pause resume thing you were doing.
That's the pause resume thing. Which is cool, but if you're going to be fiddling with the config, you cannot edit the config or change the config while you have a mode active globally and paused locally.
So this was something that Jim and I were talking about before. I want to take, instead of having 4 different Raspberry Pis for 4 different digital radio, digital FM modes, digital voice modes, I can just have one that has all the modes on it at once. And then I can either let them all interact horribly, nastily together, or I can go in here on this screen and pause them.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool.
Well, and you can, to be fair, you can kind of do that.
To be fair.
To be honest, I don't want to lie to you, Steve.
Again.
At this time. You can kind of do that with regular Pi-Star. You just go in there and turn off the mode. When you turn on that little mode button for whichever mode you want and then apply that, then it's going to give you the individual configs for like DMR, D-Star, and YSF. And then you could configure all of those, save all that, and then go back and just turn the mode off.
Right.
And then the beauty of that is when you turn the mode on, it's already configured.
So Jason's asking, why would we want to have less? And my assumption, and I haven't tested it out yet, but I'm going to, is that if I'm on America Link on DMR and it's busy chatting away and I want to switch over, I've got to go in and disconnect from that DMR mode. But if I know I'm switching from DMR to D-Star, I can just go in and pause DMR altogether, and then I won't get any of that traffic. So it's a way of quieting the storm, I guess. T-Ray!
T-Ray, look at that picture. He looks so professional.
Yeah.
That is not the face I remember from Huntsville. Of course, to be fair, I think he was face down at Huntsville.
He cleaned up when he went to Orlando last, so.
I'm kidding. T-Ray was not face down.
America Link, enough said, yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing with what you're talking about. You want to really think about your decisions if you do this. If you want to monitor 3 or 4 talk groups that are on different modes that are not bridged across modes, like Toads is bridged. You can hit us on D-Star, DMR, or Fusion. Probably M17 here in a little while, and maybe P25 and NXDN if I'm feeling froggy. Froggy. But we're a pretty low traffic talk group, right? But if you want to listen to America Link on D-Star, or let me back up, 30 Charlie, because that's specific to D-Star. If you want to listen to 30 Charlie on the D-Star part of your talk group, or your Pi-Star, regardless of the dashboard, and then you have Toads up, you ain't never going to hear Toads. You know, you could have
Charlie won't shut up.
30 Charlie won't shut up. And America Link can get like that as well. And I think it's CQ UK is a pretty busy talk group for the Brits.
Toad's Poxag for the win. Nice.
Right.
We're going to have a Ron army to go with the Don army. There's so many Rons in here.
There are. We are Ron forward tonight.
Yes.
We could create a Poxag network. I know I have my pager somewhere from the 90s. From the 90s.
So this admin main page button here takes you to this page. That's what these things are doing. They're switching pages for you, kind of like tabs. So if I click on Brandmeister Manager, after a slow refresh, I get the Brandmeister Manager. And if I click on admin, I get the admin page back. That makes sense. So the only one that we haven't done yet is system manager. And then you can enable or disable the firewall, the cron, the Pi-Star remote. Don't know why you'd want to have Pi-Star watchdog.
I have never played with that. I think it watches the MMDVM process, and it will reboot it if it jacks up. And then there's also a remote function to let you shut it off remotely to be in compliance with FCC regulations.
And then the whole advanced menu has changed as well. So quick editors, they're now organized individually. So I can edit DMR stuff, Fusion stuff, gateway stuff. What is this? MMDVM.
That's where you're going to change your... you can change almost everything in here. That's where you're also going to change... if you have an OLED display, you can rotate it so it's inverted, upside down, depending on how your Pi is sitting. This is where you'd set your TX and RX offset. You can edit almost every setting in Pi-Star right here on this one screen, to some extent.
Back to the top. Full editors. Pi-Star remote config. This is just straight up edit a text file. Hope you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of how most of this stuff is. Hope you know what you're doing.
Host file editors. That's actually a useful feature, if you know what you're doing. Oh, tools is good, Steve. Look at that. Oh, DMR jitter test. I'm jittering right now. I'm going to test against Brandmeister. Here I go.
No. Brandmeister's going sideways. Starting test. Because we're both doing it. Unreachable. Unreachable. Oh, nice. 3103 round trip time 88 milliseconds.
For you?
Yeah.
Oh, 3103. Yeah, I was 87. So 3102, I'm getting 42.
I moved to 3102.
3104 is United States.
2, I'm getting 44 milliseconds. 3104, I'm getting 19. So I should switch to 3104 is what it's telling me.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's see if any of the overseas ones are faster. There's almost no way they are. Nope.
Look and feel. There it is. Tools, look and feel, Jim.
Oh, okay. I was jittering.
Look at that.
I got to remember which one this is.
CSS factory reset at the bottom.
Oh. Oh, look at this.
Oh, wow. Yes. Look at Jim's screen. A color picker. Is Andy Taylor's original Pi-Star obsolete, ever going to be updated again? I do not know the answer to that.
Okay, that's pretty spiffy.
So Stephen Reynolds is asking, can we show how we added a second reflector? By reflector, do you mean like D-Star and DMR and POCSAG, or by second reflector, do you mean 30 alpha, 30 beta, 30 Charlie?
In the pause and resume page.
I think he means networks.
Are you going there? You want me to? Is this my screen or yours?
It's your screen that's sharing.
Okay.
2 YSF nodes. He wants to know how to add 2 YSF nodes. I have no idea how to do that.
You can't do that.
Okay.
That's not going to work. So DMR is a little different because you can add static and dynamic talk groups, but you can't do that like you're talking about with YSF. It won't work. You can do several things that are pretty cool, but they're not going to be multiple YSF groups simultaneously. DMR is kind of special in that way. And I say special like the struggle bus special. It kind of works, but it'll drive you batshit crazy unless you figure out what you've done. It really will. with YSF and D-Star, you can only pick one reflector for the hotspot. You can change that reflector from within the hotspot at any time, or you can have a list of favorites. So since you mentioned Yaesu, like on the FT70D or the 3D or 5D, either one of those, you can create a list of talk groups. And then all you have to do is bring up that menu in the FT5D, for example, and twirl the knob until you get to the talk group you want to hit the go button, the little AMS button. I think it is on the 70D, and it's like a Wires X looking thing on the 5D. And that'll change your talk group that way. You can change talk groups from the radio or from the Pi-Star, but it does not support multiple talk groups simultaneously like DMR does.
K4CHW on Toads for the first time testing.
Woo! James, you are loud and clear, my friend.
James, heard you loud and clear. Welcome to Toads DMR.
James, heard you loud and clear. Welcome to Toads DMR.
And there's that Steve guy who's always on there.
Always, always.
So I hope that answered his question.
I'm Ghost fan on the stream there. K4CHW.
Okay.
Will the OpenSpot 4 do M17, Jim?
I don't have an OpenSpot 4.
I
No.
guess the OpenSpot 3 does not.
The OpenSpot 3 does not. Not that I'm aware of. I haven't looked. I could go fetch it, but it's 8 o'clock.
Folks, this software is highly recommended. We got from point A to point B. It does the thing, just like we thought it would. There were some network errors. I think that might have to do more with Brandmeister from my location, too many hops away. I'm going to switch to 3104 after the stream is over. Steven, try it. Download the software, try it, play with it, see if you find anything, and prove Jim wrong, by all means. He likes it when that happens. He likes to learn new things. But right now, it doesn't look like Jim's wrong. And
I was wrong one time. It happens.
But I like the way it looks. I like the way it's laid out. It seems to have bundled up things and sort of stacked things and layered things. It's a move in the right direction. It's a move forward. I like it. So I'm going to keep playing with this some more. I'm going to try and do multiple networks on it because I have a D-Star and a DMR radio and an M17 radio. So I want to see if I can play with all three of those all at once, all on the same time.
I think, did you answer this earlier?
No, somebody asked if Andy had discontinued Pi-Star, and I said, I don't know. But it looks like it's fairly
Was
up-to-date
Andy
to
Cowley
me.
not telling us that Andy Taylor is got health issues?
I did not see that. Did you see that?
Not tonight. No, that was like last week. It was on one of our streams. It was either on this or Car. I don't remember which, but I'm almost positive Andy Cowley was saying that Andy Taylor's health has been kind of problematic, so that may be why he's not updated it. Honestly, the OpenSpot, and I have one. I should have brought it in. I'm a shitty sidekick. The OpenSpot is really cool.
K4CHW accessing Toads via the OpenSpot.
Look at that.
OpenSpot. There you go.
The OpenSpot is a beautiful gadget, and it's great because it's all integrated with battery and everything else. You can do everything in an OpenSpot that you can do in Pi-Star. The interface on an OpenSpot is way prettier than the Pi-Star. And the beauty of the OpenSpot is that it has profiles. So you can you can have 5 separate profiles. So you can have like a Fusion profile, a DMR profile, a D-Star profile. I'm carrying it in my house profile, and I'm in my shop profile or work or whatever. So that's very cool. You can add multiple Wi-Fi spots with Pi-Star, but you don't have different profiles. So
the last time Pi-Star was updated was October 2021.
yeah, it's been a minute.
In advance.
Did we ever find out where it shows what my machine is?
Yes.
Where?
It's under admin system details.
There we go. This is probably all just out of proc, but that's fine.
Oh,
No time.
And this one will let you do multiple different config versions. I just saw
Yes,
that from
this is
Scott.
actually similar to the profiles. I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot to say that. I noticed that when I was setting mine up. Now this doesn't tell me what my hardware is.
Oh, ClearNode does All-Star does, and he says OpenSpot does not. That would be nice. One less dingus in the house.
Right.
All right, folks. I am thinking that we're done. Jim, any last words?
No, that was cool. That was great.
Yeah. Software worked right out of the gate.
That was a beautiful
marathon
install,
streak.
man. Even for on your side and on the upgrade side, it was easy peasy.
Yes, I do have to get a video out about M17.
Clear
It's on
Node.
the
Have we
list.
done Clear Node? Do you do?
We have not done ClearNode. ClearNode is a hardware device like OpenSpot is what it sounds like.
Okay.
All right, fellas, we will see you next Monday on Ham Nuggets. Who knows what we'll do, but we'll all do it together. I tried.